Hey everyone, Lily Ray here. Happy 2024. I've committed to doing more videos this year, so here we are. And what I want to be doing is just sharing what I'm seeing in the search results and in the SEO space, and anything that I think is worth sharing as far as big developments, new product launches, anything that's really having a big impact on SEO. I'd like to talk about that. Today is going to be largely focused on what I've been seeing over the last few months on Google, which is a lot of spam and low quality results. Now, I don't mean to beat a dead horse. I don't mean to keep harping on something that everyone kind of knows is happening. And I certainly don't mean to call anybody out, whether that be people who are spamming Google or Google themselves. This is not a personal attack on anyone. This is me just reporting what I'm seeing because, frankly, I work at an SEO agency called Amsiv. We have dozens of clients, and these types of results are literally outranking our clients in many cases, seeing a lot of like AI generated nonsense and scraped content and spam and these different types of things ranking in very prominent positions on Google. So to me, this is just an SEO issue. It's not personal. It's just something that I think we need to talk about. So today I'm going to go over several different types of spam that we're seeing and just low quality results that we're seeing that is doing quite well from an SEO perspective. It's earning top positions. It's earning a lot of SEO visibility. In some cases, these spammy results will rank in the top positions on Google, if not number one, or even the featured snippet. We're seeing a lot of that. And there's a lot of kind of churn and burn happening. So when you see one spammy website ranking, that spam might be kind of removed from Google the next day, and then you'll see another site popping up. And so it's just kind of this like whack-a-mole, which has always been true in the SEO world. Google has been combating spam and the search engines have been combating spam. That's their primary job. A lot of it's behind the scenes, but this is what they have always been doing. So for anybody that's unclear, this is nothing new, but it is something that I think is more visible than ever. I've certainly never seen it this visible. And a lot of the types of spam that I'm seeing are types of spam that I thought Google was better at managing or reducing its visibility. So we'll talk about that today. So diving right in, the number one type of spam in general that I think is worth talking about is the way in which spammers and I mean, some of them call themselves SEO, so we can call them SEOs, but they're leveraging this unique situation that's taking place on Google, which is, I believe, what's stemming from Google's hidden gems update. So, to take a step back, in May of last year, 2023, Google announced that they would be making a change to their helpful content system, which would be rewarding what they call hidden gems in search. And basically, this is like when an answer to a question might live really deep in a forum somewhere, or maybe a social media post or a blog. Google's changing its ranking system to elevate that type of content. Now, it's not a secret in the SEO community, and I just published a new article about this week, that the biggest SEO winner in 2023 was Reddit. We've since learned that Google has a partnership that they've announced with Reddit a couple of days ago, so that's very interesting as well. But Reddit's not the only site. We're seeing Quora and LinkedIn and a few other major user-generated content websites that are also seeing enormous gains in visibility and rankings and traffic in the last year. So I think a lot of that is stemming from hidden gems. The timing makes sense. Google told us in May that we would start to see this change really rolling out over the next few months. You'll see that Reddit and Quora and everybody really started to take off in about June or July of last year. So the timing makes sense. There's obviously much bigger conversations with regard to the business relationship between Google and Reddit that I don't really want to get into today. A lot of conspiracy theories about that. That has not been confirmed by Google, but what we do know is Reddit, Quora, LinkedIn, and many of these other user-generated content websites and forums are seeing abnormally high SEO visibility. I think that Reddit's growth is the biggest growth of any single domain I've seen ever in the history of SEO. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never seen a website grow that quickly in terms of ranking and visibility in that short amount of time. And Quora and LinkedIn follow similar visibility patterns, certainly not as exponential as Reddit, but they're also seeing growth as well. So what does this mean? It means that user-generated content websites like Reddit, like Quora, like LinkedIn's community groups and everything that accept user-generated content, that accepts people asking questions and answering questions, they're seeing top rankings for a lot of different keywords. And because of just how vast this growth has been for Reddit, we're now seeing Reddit literally ranking in top positions for extremely high volume keywords. And this is not just pure organic results. Reddit will show up in a number of different ways. So we're going to talk about discussions and forums in a second, but we'll also see sometimes Google, anybody that's opted into SGE, search generative experience, can sometimes see SGE saying, oh, well, Reddit said this, Reddit said that. So SGE will often link and highlight Reddit results. You might see Reddit ranking in various different page one positions for the query that you typed in. Beyond that, Reddit gets its own special kind of rich result in a way where you'll see various site links that point to different Reddit results. So like one Reddit listing might have 4 or 5 different site links basically to different URLs on reddit.com. So if you're looking at Reddit Search Console, you're going to see a huge amount of impressions stemming from the same keyword, because in some cases you'll see 5 different URLs from Reddit ranking on the first page. So that's happening. And what does this have to do with spam? Well, to no one's surprise, spammers are taking advantage of this opportunity. And it's not just spammers, it's really anybody that wants to get more increased SEO visibility right now. It's a bit of a gold rush. So there's literally videos, if you want to go look on YouTube for how to do this. There's ways to spam Reddit. There's ways to get your affiliate links in Reddit. There's ways to get your whatever content it is you're trying to get in there in Reddit. That being said, Reddit is known, and this is probably why Google partnered with them in a sense. Reddit is known and well respected, generally speaking, for its moderation. It's difficult to get things to stick in Reddit if they're promotional, if they're spammy. Of course, the spammers have somehow found ways to do this, but generally speaking, somewhat like Wikipedia, it's hard to get things to stick in Reddit. It's hard to be self-promotional. Fun fact, I started my SEO career attempting to spam Reddit and was unsuccessful. That was 14 plus years ago, so things have changed. But yeah, it's not a secret they're doing this. This is why you might see really spammy looking AI generated, full of affiliate links type content on Reddit right now. Okay. To make matters worse, Google has a relatively new SERP feature called discussions and forums. This is maybe a year old. And discussions and forums is a way for Google to highlight when people are talking about a given query. So just yesterday, one of my teammates, Sarah, she found that when you type watch insurance, discussions and forums is the SERP feature that ranks #1 above any organic result. So Google is clearly trying to highlight people having discussions, having conversations, asking questions, answering questions about certain keywords like watch insurance. Should I get it? Who should I get it from? When should I get it? What to know about it? It's a way to make the SERP feel a bit more authentic, a bit more human, makes it feel like real people are having real conversations, which a lot of us in the SEO space, like Mark Williams Cook, has been doing amazing work on this, and Glenn Gabe as well. It's a way to make the SERP feel more human. It's a way to make the SERP feel less filled with AI content, which doesn't really have that authentic human experience to it. That's just a theory. Google hasn't confirmed that that's why they're doing it, but that's been a big push that Google's been doing for the last few years. So they added the new E to EEAT for E for experience. They've been demoting lots of sites that don't demonstrate firsthand experience. They have entirely new ranking systems dedicated to this, like the reviews system, helpful content system. They're really trying to elevate that firsthand experience. So discussions and forums is a way to kind of like isolate those human conversations that are happening directly in a SERP feature. And as a result of this, when you combine the first 2 things that we've talked about, when you combine people spamming Reddit with discussions and forums being so prominent in the search results, you're now getting very spammy things from Reddit that are being newly generated daily, ranking in very, very prominent positions for discussions and forums. So just yesterday, a gentleman named Len Raleigh pointed out something that was mildly terrifying, which is that payday loans, which actually is a keyword that has a lot of history on Google. Google actually has a specific ranking algorithm update that they launched about 6 years ago to combat spam and scammy types of results for the keyword payday loans. Discussions and forums is actually currently ranking in the top position for this keyword. Google's aware of it. They're working on it. So a lot of these things are like, it's a cat and mouse game. People find a loophole, Google finds out about it, Google takes care of the loophole. And honestly, we're in a bit of a holding pattern right now because there's so many different loopholes that people are exploiting that Google has its work cut out for it and is probably working on a lot of very big updates that I imagine we'll see this year. Another type of spam that I've been seeing for the past few months and that I understand has been happening, especially on non-US versions of Google for several months before that, is really just pure spam. Like these kind of like uh, spammy brand new domains that might end in like .de or different international TLDs, or they might end in .online or .biz or .info. These spammers are buying up these new domains constantly, and basically they're checking for Googlebot IP addresses, and if they see that it belongs to Googlebot, they display real content. If it doesn't belong to Googlebot, they will serve the user with kind of like sketchy redirected content that might ask you to like hit some browser notification or like just click some kind of spammy thing. I haven't actually clicked on it. I imagine it's malware. I don't want to click on it, but there's a lot of that in the search results. I started really kind of publicly posting about this maybe in December, mid-December, and it's late February and it's still happening. Google's aware of it. They said they're working on it, but I'm surprised to see that the problem seems to be getting worse. Again, it's like whack-a-mole. Every day that you Google certain keywords, a lot of these keywords are more local in nature. So you might get like the one that I keep checking is Craigslist used auto parts, but there's a lot of other similar like auto body dealers and like Craigslist related keywords and CVS and different local businesses that people might be looking for. It seems like maybe because there's very low competition or because Google's using kind of like a localized ranking system for those types of keywords, the spammers are sneaking in there with these brand new domains. And honestly, they're ranking in some cases very prominently in top positions for these types of keywords. I found one in December that was related to getting a COVID vaccine at CVS, and the spammers were actually ranking in top positions for that. So, why does this matter? Google is the leading search engine in the world and has been for a very long time. I know that this is something that the DOJ is currently investigating, so I don't want to make bold claims about how Google got here, but um, people generally speaking like Google's results because they don't see spam. Google does a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure that spam doesn't appear there because people need to be able to trust their search engine to not, infest their computer with malware and things like this. But that seems to be slipping a bit lately, which is a bit alarming. I know a lot of people have a lot of theories as to why that's happening. Google obviously has a lot of things that it's working on and a lot of fire drills that are no secret that it's dealing with internally. So I don't know if the two things are connected, but personally, I'm surprised to see that this issue has not been dealt with more quickly. But it's just also important to keep in mind that every one of these spam results that ranks is pushing down the opportunity for any other type of website to rank. So that's why I talk about it, because at the end of the day, SEO, we're all competing for very, very limited visibility and rankings. So the more spam there is, the less opportunity there is for legitimate businesses to compete. And also, there's been a lot of people taking advantage of what we called hidden gems before. So basically, Google's own properties like Google Groups, Google Translate, Google Maps, places where users can submit content, user generated content. It has been ranking quite well. So maybe that's also tied to Google's Hidden Gems update. But a lot of this has been brought to Google's attention that people are using and exploiting this opportunity to get a lot of visibility directly on Google. And you'll see if you look at Systrix, for example, that a lot of that, those subdomains and subfolders increased in SEO visibility. And then whether it, manually or algorithmically, Google caught on to it and it kind of fell off recently. So again, a lot of this is a cat and mouse game, but it's something that I've never seen as visible and as prominent as in the last few weeks and months. Another particularly frustrating form of spam that I've been seeing a lot of because our team is so focused on Google Discover continues to be web story spam. This is not new. It's not new. I want to be very clear. In fact, it's old at this point. People have been spamming web stories and it's doing really well in Google Discover. Google recently indicated that they would be not showing the carousel version of web stories in Google Discover anymore. So that's one type of web story. There's other ones, but this could be kind of a precursor to the fact that they're going to be deprecating different types of web stories going forward, which personally I think they should do just because they're generally garbage. But right now, there's still a lot of spam where you might see the exact same spammy web story actually posted on like multiple different URLs. You might see the same web story on 15 different URLs on like cheap expired domains. that are doing really well in Google Discover. And why this is so frustrating to people like me and our clients is because a lot of clients and companies have seen Discover traffic drop off a cliff in the last few months. So when there's spammers getting away with these loopholes and legitimate businesses who have teams of like excellent writers and editors who produce top quality content are literally like needing to lay people off because there's so much reduced visibility and traffic in Google Discover, and that traffic is going to spammy web stories. It's quite frustrating. This is why this is such a big pain point for me. So, long story short, we're in a bit of a holding pattern with Google. Google has made it clear they're working on things. I hear them, I get it. It's not an easy challenge what they're dealing with. I feel a bit lucky that I'm not on Google's engineering team right now. And I know this is extremely difficult for them. So that doesn't excuse, the fact that so many legitimate websites have lost so much visibility, and not even knowing that this was coming, not knowing that spam was going to take over Google's results for many different keywords. And a lot of the great content that they've published would, in some cases, be like swapped out. Like I have clients where a spammy AI generated website is taking their content, respinning it, rehashing it, and outranking the original source. And they're doing that systematically. And that's how they're getting all their SEO traffic. So it's extremely frustrating. I really hope and do anticipate that we're going to see some really major changes this year with regard to search quality. But at the same time, who knows? I think we're in really unprecedented times with SEO. Google seems to be extraordinarily focused on its AI offerings right now. That's no secret. So it could just be that that's where Google's focus is these days. But I'm hopeful that we circle back to focusing on the golden goose, which is Google's actual search results, organic search results. So hopefully that was helpful. And feel free to share anything that you're seeing or any questions that you have in the comments. Take care.